Hello, welcome to the World Monkeys Cricket Show. Today is day 2. We're going to have a quick review of day 2 of the second test in Chennai, England, obviously England, India, or India-England, whichever way you want to say it. India's 2 days so far by a country mile. England have got a hell of a fight on to stay in the game. But it's looking very, 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 very difficult. I think with 15 wickets in a day fell today. So we'll go through some of them. As you can see, you've got Mick and Wayne with us. Obviously, myself, Matt.
Hello.
Yo.
It is India's test, Wayne.
I don't see any situation where India don't win this within the next 3 sessions, because that pitch is deteriorating so badly, and we are not prepared for that sort of pitch. Whereas they are. If this somehow gets to day 4, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, I would be, to be honest. How long are you giving it, Mick?
If it gets to day 4, there's going to be no pitch left anyway, is there? So, I mean, it'll be pointless going into day 4. They might as well just try and wrap it up tomorrow and have done.
I'm sort of surprised. I know enforcing the follow-on's not what you do nowadays, but I am a little bit surprised that they didn't.
They could
have not. I thought.
No, they got 5 runs short.
My scores mixed up. 5 runs short. There you go. That's probably why they didn't do it.
I imagine. Yeah.
In county cricket, it's 150 runs, but test is 200.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That explains that. Do you think they would have done, Wayne, if they could have done? Bearing in mind the circumstances.
Yeah, if they kept them under the 129, then I think they would have done, because they would have bowled us out equally for a very similar amount. We are just not prepared for those conditions. They are, and that's only in the same way that most teams that come to England aren't prepared for the green pitches that we prepare. But we're not prepared for those conditions, and we're not prepared for those decisions. That's the way I'm going to
Okay. Go ahead and explain further for everybody who hasn't seen them all.
So we've already spoken yesterday about the England's review that hit the glove that they decided not to show. And today there was a couple of decisions that we'll say amazed me, and that's what we're going to say. So first of all, Moeen Ali bowling to, was it Sharma? Rohit Sharma, I can't remember. Rohit or Pujara, anyway, I can't remember which one it was now. Ball, clearly pitches outside the line off stump, and appeal for LBW, not given. And first of all, the umpire doesn't tell Joe Root whether he is saying that the batsman's played a shot, and then they go on to check that decision, but only check as far as saying that it's hit him outside the line, and then they declare that the umpire declares that he did play a shot. And if he's played a shot at that delivery, I'll be amazed, because he's hiding the bat behind his body. It's not physically possible to hit his bat in that situation, unless he's got unless he's a hologram, basically. So England lose a review on something that we already knew on field, because as soon as if the umpire says he's playing a shot, then we won't review it because he's clearly outside the line. It's not going to be given. But it's hitting middle stump, and he's hiding the bat behind his body. I can't understand how you can tell me they're playing a shot there. And then Folks gets, I think it's Pujara this time.
That's out. That is out.
Yeah, and
end of.
We've got to a replay, and they look at the first replay, and it's like, all right, nothing behind the line. And the third umpire goes, it's clearly grounded. I'm like, what do you mean it's clearly grounded? There is absolutely nothing behind the line.
Yeah.
The line is actually intact. It's most in these situations, you tend to find that the line's slightly broken because people have made the mark, shuffled down the crease, etc. The line's intact, and there's clearly nothing behind the line, and it's not even checked. It's just it's grounded, that's fine, not out. Unbelievable decisions. I just want to be clear at this point. It won't affect the game. We're going to lose regardless.
Yeah.
But It's really taking away from what could be a good game, knowing that certain decisions are never going to be looked at properly. And it's 3 times it's happened this game, and 3 times we kind of, what's the point in having the review system, or what's the point in having replays if you're not going to use them correctly? It's really frustrating. It's one of the first times I've ever, probably the first time ever in a test match that I've looked at the way the third umpire's conducted himself and thought something's not right here.
Do we know if it's the same set of umpires from the first test? I haven't checked that. Any ideas?
I know one of them's the same umpire. That Nitin, what's his name? I always forget his name. Nitin Menon. I don't know. Brenda Sharma, was he in the first test? Can't remember.
I'll have a look while we're talking.
But the thing that gets me is we've got to use our umpires because of COVID, and yet there's 15,000 people in ground.
Yeah, it is a different umpire. The TV umpire today is one of the on-field umpires from the last game,
who actually was really good in the last game.
It's Arnold Chowdhury that's the third umpire this time. Yeah,
both umpires in the last game were really good, but this is. I'm not suggesting for 1 second, and I don't want to cause an international incident, that there's been some sort of backlash for India losing the first test to the point where people are looking at things differently in the second test to ensure they don't go 2-0 down. No, wait, yeah, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. Prove me wrong.
You've got to look at it. You've got to look at the 3 incidents you're talking about. The first one from yesterday was inexplicable. Absolutely, I cannot give an explanation as to why that happened. I can't. The first one from today, the ball from Moeen, there is absolutely no way he is playing a shot. No way on this earth. We've had this for years about the batsman hiding the bat behind his front pad and claiming to have been playing a shot, and it was. I'm sure this was dealt with 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Where it was decided, look, you put your bat behind your front pad, behind your front leg, you aren't playing a shot. It is inexplicable again, that one. The run out, I think if it had been given against me, I'd have been disappointed, but I can also see the argument that there's nothing behind the line as well. I did question it at the time, but I just thought, go on then, all right, fair enough. But I suppose when you start adding it all up, it's just the third umpire's having an absolute shocker, isn't it? He's having an absolute nightmare. And I can.
To be fair, with television, I can also it's acceptable for the on-field umpires to have nightmares because they make an instant like that. They make an instant decision. The third umpire has no real excuse not to get every single decision right. No
excuse. It's same with VAR in football. There is no excuse. And as you explained yesterday, Matt, cricket is at the forefront of using technology to the best, to its best, to the best of its ability, and doing really well with it. Football, completely the opposite. Is taking fantastic technology and making a complete balls up of it. But cricket has never been like that, and unfortunately, on this occasion, in this test match, the third umpire has just made a mess, a complete and utter mess. I think the best thing for him to do would be to transfer across to England and come and work VAR. because he'd be sort of playing on the same sort of playing field as he has been doing for the past 2 days. But like you said, Wayne, it makes no difference. All those three incidents could have gone the way that we feel that they should have gone, and we'd still be in the same mess.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like sour grapes from me, to be honest with you. But I want to be clear: we're going to lose this match regardless of those decisions.
Yeah.
Well, the Sharma yesterday, it made absolutely no difference because he got out 2 or 3 balls later.
Yeah,
zero difference.
The Rahane one, 1 ball later, 2 balls later.
Rahane, sorry, yeah. So it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't sit right, and we've got 2 more games of this series left, which is an issue. If this is a sign of things to come, then there's some serious questions, because this test has already gone. Like we said, this test was gone basically when the toss was lost.
So I've got a question here. And I do accept that the home team, be it England, Australia, India, whoever, has that sort of prerogative to prepare a pitch to the best to suit them. I understand that. I don't have a problem with it. You know, I have no issue with it, but I can't get my head around preparing a pitch, which basically the only result that matters is who wins the toss. I don't get it, because this pitch was based on whoever wins the toss will probably win the game. Because if you bat first, you're going to be in a much better position than the other side. It was blowing up like a day 10 pitch after 2 hours of day 1. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just I don't get the reasoning behind that, because if India lose that toss, and England go on and put 300 on, then India are in the same boat that England are in now. You know, so it's a real gamble in my view. Anyway, I don't know.
It appears to have made way for Ashwin. The pitch suits the way that Ashwin bowls and everything else. It really does appear to have been designed for India's best spinner.
Yeah. I'm not going to call it an international incident. I'm not going to do it. They have set the pitch up specifically for him, in the same way that you could argue that England set her home pitches up designed for Jimmy Anderson.
Yeah.
But again, the issue is the quality of the pitches and the quality of the cricket being played on those pitches. Moeen Ali is a good spin bowler. He doesn't turn it at right angles like he has been doing. Shane Warne would be pitching that and it'd be hitting square leg.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you. It's a little bit like saying, "Oh, we've just had a football match that finished 10-all. Oh yeah, wow, it's an amazing game." And then you watch a replay and you realise that the nets are 20 foot by 20 yards. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot more goals in it, but you don't necessarily have a reflection on the way that particular player's played. So it is just a little bit frustrating. And you know, when you get to the point where you look at these stats, you look at you take, say, Muralitharan's stats as a bowler all around, and then you look at Kumble and that lot, and people who have got these really big stats as spin bowlers, and you sort of look at it and think, if that's the sort of pitches that they've been playing on, they're going to get that amount of wickets. And does that make them one of the best of all time? No, to be honest.
Yeah, but this we talked about this before the series. This is why India is one of the most difficult places to come, because they can set the pitches like this. The subcontinent, if you leave a pitch and don't treat it properly, this is what can happen. It will just deteriorate. What you ideally want from a test match is it stays alive for 3/4 days, and the 4th and 5th days can then become a difficult pitch. What we're seeing is on day 1, it's a difficult pitch, which is not really a good pitch for test cricket. It doesn't create a good contest. It means if you're batting second, you're in dire trouble. That's not going to create a good game. You could argue the first pitch was like that, but this India got, what did they get, 250, 300 in their first innings in the last test? So it clearly wasn't that bad of a pitch, although it was a difficult pitch. It clearly wasn't that bad of a pitch, because both teams were able to score okay runs. I accept that England didn't deal with the conditions very well.
No.
But England, I can't think of an England team in history that would have dealt with those conditions at all.
I can't think of any non-subcontinent team in history that would have dealt with those conditions.
Yeah.
You look back at the greats, the Australian team in the early 2000s, probably considered one of the best teams ever. They wouldn't have been able to deal with what that pitch is doing.
But the bottom line is, you can't. We as England can't go bleating about the conditions, because we knew what they were going to be. You know, and we are saying that, all right, that pitch is breaking up and so on and so forth on day one. It shouldn't be doing that. I accept that. Yeah. The chances are, in reality, I mean, I've joked about it. In reality, the pitch will probably do the same thing on day 4 that it did on day 1. You know, it'll just keep turning and turning, and as it has done. So we can't bleat about it. We can't moan about it. You know, our spinners have bowled all right. Like you said, Moeen's been turning it 90 degrees. You know, Jack Leach has bowled really well, in my view. They're only turning it the same amount that the Indians are turning it. So, you know, ultimately, like I say, I know I've moaned about the pitch and everything else, but you can't, because it's the same for both teams. You know, we've just got to learn over a period of time as a team to play spin better than they are doing at the moment, and adapt to the conditions. It's not as though we can't sit and watch hours and hours and hours of Indian batsmen dealing with spin in Indian conditions and work out how it's done and deal with it and practice. And you know what I mean? They can do it. They've got analysts. They've got all this backroom staff that can you know, train players to play in those sorts of conditions, or certainly give them the tools to do it.
The difference is that Ashwin's gone for, in the first innings, something like 1.8 and over. Moeen gone for 4.5, 4.4 and over.
4.41,
There's your difference.
Yeah. But that's down to the batter as much as it is down to the bowler, isn't it? You know.
On batsmen, England batsmen, we got to give a massive shout out to Ben Foakes, 42 off 107 unbeaten. He is a very, very promising all-round player because his keeping's been excellent. The stumping was a very, very good stumping as well, Mick. It's competition for places, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And I do feel for him. I felt for him as soon as Jack Leach got out because I knew Stuart Broad were coming in. And much as Stuart Broad is you know, he's a lovely bloke, I'm sure. You know, he's a fantastic bowler, and he can bat. What's his top score? 160 something, whatever it is.
Against Pakistan. That was brilliant. That.
But you know that in tough conditions and in a tough situation, he's going to come in and he's going to throw his bat instead of just sitting there and letting Ben Foakes get on with his job and try and block and try and play some time and he tries to play his shots. You knew he were. I said as he walked in, I said this is going to be another T20 innings from Broad. It's pointless, and I think for me, for a man of his experience, I think it's inexcusable. He shouldn't be playing shots like that. That's not his job as a number 11. He should be sitting there and letting Ben Foakes at least get some more runs on the board and at least use up some more time. But no, and I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with it. But you know, it is what it is, isn't it? That's what he does.
For a man that spent many years batting 7 and 8 in Test matches, so when he first come into Test, they thought he was going to be the next Flintoff, and they were batting him at 7. Spent a long time at 8. I don't really understand why he's coming in at 11. If he's playing that role, he probably should be coming in at 10 ahead of Leach, so that Leach can play that role. It's just not good enough.
No, he's had issues, Broad, though, and since he took that blow again, I think it was against Pakistan a couple of years after his 150. He's not been the same batsman.
But he's not going to have that problem on that pitch. He didn't even need to wear a helmet on that pitch.
It's true. Yeah, I suppose. You know what you're going to get with Stuart Broad, and it's all right saying that, but that's almost his role is to if you can get us a quick 20, brilliant. You've got if your number 11 gets you a 20 off 20, you're happy with that. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
Got to look at the context of the game, haven't you?
I know, yeah, I accept that.
You know, every innings is different, and you can't just come in into every innings that if I can get a quick 20 here. No, that might be the case on some occasions, but on this occasion that was never going to be the requirement from Stuart Broad. The requirement was to let Ben Foakes do his job and stay there as long as you can.
But at the same time, could he have done that? If Stuart Broad plays his unnatural game and tries to block out, the chances are he's going to get a Jack Leach and he's going to get done.
I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that. He's been a professional cricketer all his adult life. If you're telling me that he hasn't got the capability to come in and block, then he shouldn't really be a professional cricketer.
Jack Leach got out blocking.
Yeah, he did, but he stayed in there for a lot more balls than
Yeah.
Stuart Broad did. You know what I mean? And he built a little bit of a partnership. Stuart Broad is more than capable of coming in there and playing a Jeffrey Boycott for an hour. More than capable. But he doesn't do it, does he? And I don't think that's good enough, personally.
Fair enough. Well, that's the end of this one. There's not really much more we can say other than India have won this test. It's just a matter of whether it takes 3 days or 4 days. They should win it inside 3 days, but that depends how long they want to bat. If they, from an Indian point of view, if you say to somebody, the lads that are in now, right, go try and go big. You've got a full day of day 3. Go as big as you want. Make a lead of 600. It doesn't really matter, does it? They're not going to take more than 2 days to bowl England out. So it gives some Indian players a real chance to find some form. Kohli's obviously not got many runs this series, other than 70 odd in the second innings of the first test. So it's a chance for him to come in early-ish tomorrow and get a big score, find his form, which is struggle for reasons. So it's a dream situation for India. I'm sure we will go to. I'm not sure what the next 2 tests are, but we're going to the next 2 tests almost certainly with the series level. And it's going to set it nice, but we'll come back tomorrow to review it. Whatever happens, I'm sure there'll be another 1,000 wickets that fall on day 3, which we can talk about. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on anywhere that's not YouTube, go over to YouTube and subscribe because that'll be out again. And follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, that type of thing. Yeah, fantastic. Cheers, Mick. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Cheers. And thank you very much, Wayne. It's been what's the word?
Something.
Yeah,
It's definitely been something. I can guarantee it's been something.
You weren't as controversial as I thought you may be. You didn't use the word you weren't going to use, so well done.
What, the C word?
The C word, yeah.
Thanks. That's got people thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you all tomorrow. It'll be much later tomorrow because it's a weekday. So it'll probably 7 o'clock British time, evening time. But it might not be live, so we'll see. But we'll do it then, and we'll see how things go. Cheers everybody for watching, get involved, and we'll see you all next time.
Subscribe. Down there.